Well, it is the end of another day. I'm out here in the garage enjoying a cigar. Thank you so much for joining me. At my house, I typically am the one who will do laundry. And this is my first challenge for you as men. If you currently do not know how to do your own laundry, I think that it is high time you start to learn. This is something that I was doing whenever I was 10 years old and have continued to be able to do as a way to care for myself. And as an adult, I have come to appreciate this lesson. Now, as a child, I didn't necessarily get excited about doing laundry, but it's a skill that I unfortunately don't see common among men. Now, if you are a man who can do laundry, I applaud you. If you are not, I don't want to shame you, but I want to challenge you. Now would be the time to start learning, because it's one of those skills that you don't want to be dependent upon somebody else to help make sure that you smell appropriate in specific situations. You don't want to be that guy at work who stinks, and you also don't want to be that guy who's taking all of your clothes over to your parents' house so your mom can do your laundry for you, or your dad can do your laundry for you. So first off, I will start by challenging you in that way. One of the practical ways, if you don't know how to begin, I've started with my children. I have 4 different baskets that I will separate clothes in. Now, you can get more specific depending on your clothing, but these 4 typically will do you well. And I'm teaching them, they're young, but each basket is color coded. So you have your whites, you have your blacks, you have your reds, and then you have your other colors. So your blues, your browns, etc., those types of things. So that's an easy way to start off, just by learning how to separate the colors, because there's nothing worse than when you get that nice new white shirt and you wash it and there is a red sock that's been washed with it and you ruin it. So that happens by not separating the colors appropriately. Secondly, the reason that I'm even talking about laundry is because in my house, like I said, I typically am the one who does the laundry. My wife is usually with the children, and it's difficult to try and get loads moved through for her, so I don't mind doing it. Well, sometimes whenever I'm doing laundry, she wants to come in and kind of assist with the laundry. And when that happens, it usually causes a little bit of a backup, a train wreck with the laundry. And how that's played out recently is we have a bunch of clothes that just smell like mildew. If you've ever left clothes in the washing machine too long, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You go to dry off with a towel and you get out of the shower and you're like, man, I stink. And it's the towel, it's mildew. It's because it was left in the wash for too long before you moved it into the dryer. Well, we are finding that with all of our kids' clothes. We keep pulling stuff out. My son, I go to put on PJs and he just reeks and he gives me this face. Like, Daddy, that stinks. I don't want to wear that. So we were putting our youngest in PJs tonight, and my wife went to smell it, and she goes, ugh, this one stinks too. When is this going to get over with? And I said, just keep putting them in the laundry. I'm washing them. I'm going through them. But as we were talking about it, I said, you know what this is from, right? I said, it's not just because you and I have different styles of doing laundry. It's not that complicated. I said, the problem is we didn't have communication. And, you know, my walk away is when there is a lack of communication in a relationship, things stink. And I don't know if you've experienced that, but man, it can go bad quickly if you just assume things or you just neglect to talk about them. You know, as a man, I typically am slower in response to my wife. She can just do stream of consciousness, words coming out as quickly that are appropriate for the conversation. And usually I have to analyze what she's saying, think about my response, and then make sure that I'm going to say it in a way that's clear and that gets my point across. Well, she and I were talking the other night, and she was just going off on me on something. And, you know, I'm not saying that I didn't deserve that type of passion behind what she was saying, but the way she was saying it was not necessarily the right way. And in that moment, I had a brief moment of wisdom, I guess I would say, where I responded the appropriate way for whatever reason. I was at a good place mentally, and I didn't have to come back at her with that same anger, that same passion, defensiveness. Because I don't know if, as a guy, that's typically what I will do is if I feel attacked, I'm going to defend myself. And so I'll start accusing or I'll start, critiquing her when it has nothing to do with what we were talking about. And not even that what she was talking about was wrong. So in this instance, though, for whatever reason, I happened to be in a clear mind and I was peaceful and she was stressed. And so she was attacking me. And so I told her, I said, you need to stop for a minute. I said, you were talking to me the way you would talk to a child. I am not a child that you need to reprimand. I am your spouse. We are equals. And so let's stop and calm this conversation down. And then we were able to have a dialogue, which was actually beneficial. Well, I say that the importance of communication in relationships to keeping things from stinking is very, very true because as men, you can either attack or you shut down. Women do this too, but I can only speak for myself because I am a man. And a lot of times I used to just shut down completely. If I didn't like what was being said, I would just hold my tongue and walk away. And I would be frustrated and it would come out through just aggressive tasking. I would do things and I would make a big show about it because I was so mad, I was so frustrated. This ties into that inner child thing that I've talked about in earlier videos, but I would never talk about it. I wouldn't actually go to her and have a conversation. And as I'm growing in my maturity, I have come to understand and appreciate that you have to have communication. So I challenge you tonight, if you are not one who typically will work through a problem with your spouse, with your girlfriend, whatever, I really encourage you to start fighting for communication. Not fighting with communication, but fighting for communication. Have that dialogue. If she wants to storm off and walk away, express to her that you are not trying to accuse, but you really want to help make sure that your relationship stays strong, that the situation that you both are frustrated about gets better, and that all happens with communication. Now, one thing that I did want to add was a scripture tonight in Proverbs 15:1 and 2. It talks about this in a great, great way and a great lesson that you can take away with your conversations that can tend to get heated. Proverbs 15:1 says, a soft answer turns away wrath, but a harsh answer stirs up anger. The tongue of the wise uses knowledge rightly, but the mouth of fools pours forth foolishness. So I challenge you tonight to be wise and to turn away wrath with a gentle answer, but fight for communication in your relationships. Hopefully this was something that you could benefit from, you can take and actually use today in your relationships moving forward. Thank you so much for joining me. Like I said, if you are not subscribed to the channel already, I would greatly appreciate if you would consider subscribing. If you like the content, please give me that thumbs up and share on social media. If you have any comments that you'd like to share about funny stories where communication wreaked havoc on your relationship or anything else that you'd like to talk about, please put those in the comments. I would love to share those. I would love to talk with you about those. And as always, if you are in the Lebanon area and would like to join me, I would love to share a cigar with you and change the world.